What is good, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back, and we're back for a match preview for the Carabao Cup first round game versus Middlesbrough. Also going to speak about transfer news. I think that's probably going to take the main event because, as you know, we've got 17 days left of this window. We haven't made a signing in, 24 days since Jayden Bogle came through the door. So there's a few things to discuss, and Daniel Farke made a few things clear, something that I've said consistently on this channel. He said today in his press conference, so we're going to repeat that. Before we get into it, please like the video, subscribe, drop your comments below. Thank you to Mr. P, William Morrison, and John Abbott for the super thanks on the last video. Much appreciated, guys, and thank you to all my members, one of which is Dat Mandea. What's good, KG? What's good with you, my man? If you want to become a member of the channel, the link is in the description, or is the button next to the subscribe button called join. So yeah, people, we're going to speak about that. Going to just not too much, touch a little bit on the Burnley result as well, because after game week 1, it kind of makes me see that everyone that I thought would win did win, except for us. You know, always that anomaly, aren't we? But for me, every team that I thought would win their games did win, except for Leeds United. But it's one game, so we're not going to, go over the top with that. But there are improvements that we obviously have to make, and Daniel Farke was speaking about those today himself. Afternoon to you. Yeah, and also, by the way, we're going to speak about Jonathan Rowe, and I'm going to make it clear now. I know that as a content creator, I'm supposed to report anytime Jonathan Rowe sneezes and brushes, blows his nose with a different kind of tissue. But I think after today, unless there's any major update, I'm going to park the Jonathan Rowe talk. Because you know me, look, if I can't get myself up for it in terms of that, it will translate to you guys. I don't hide it very well if I'm not interested in a subject too well. So I'm just going to make it clear, unless we go in with a concrete bid and that's reported, I'm going to leave the Jonathan Rowe talk after today. Sean here saying Szmodics over Rowe was wild. Ain't wild to me, Sean, and we'll speak about it, Sean, but not for me. Listen, and also I'm going to speak about Sammie Szmodics just purely from, there's no link there, just let me make that clear. There's been links in the past, but recently a pundit said that it just makes sense for Leeds to get him, and I just want to keep it in the ether. I want to keep it in the atmosphere while Ipswich are dilly-dallying, while Jonathan Rowe, this whole saga thing. Sammie Szmodics is right there, and I'll get into the reasons why again. So yeah, listen, people. Daniel Farke spoke today. I'm not going to go through everything he said today. There was a lot of there must have been like a sentimental journalist in the house, because first of all he asked about Patrick Bamford and when is he going to be ready? Do you see him as a starter? And then he also asked about Luke Ayling. Two things I have no interest in talking about, so I'm not. But Daniel Farke said today, we won all the statistics. Sometimes you sit in the dressing room like, how the hell did we not win this game? It happens. It's the championship. It's football. Well, Daniel, my friend, what you don't seem to understand now is that you have 2 wins in the last 10. All right, those are statistics too, and they are real ones. So you need to get your ideas together, get your act together, get back on the horse, and get this team where it should be. Because all I'm seeing now is people saying, "See, I knew that so-and-so team would be a problem, Middlesbrough, Coventry, blah, blah, blah." Those teams aren't problems until we make them problems. So I'm saying, as long as Leeds United do what they're supposed to do, we should be sitting along with Sheffield United, along with Burnley, and being the pace setters of this division, and us being one of the two as well. The players are there. Listen, people can say what they want. If you don't think that this team, as it stands, is better than a lot of the championship, I don't know what to say to you. But Daniel Farke needs to make sure that he's doing what he's supposed to, because statistics, the main one, Daniel, is that we drew the game. We didn't win the one. And also, I want to point this out as well. I mean, this is a completely separate scenario, but Preston North End, they had a whole preseason, a whole transfer window, whatever it is, with Ryan Lowe. And after one game against Sheffield United, decide that it's time to part ways. I find it very hard to believe that they just decided after the Sheffield United game, you know what, man? I don't fancy this. I'm going. They would have had discussions to say, look, the ending to your season wasn't good. You didn't score in the last 5 games. It's now 6 in a row, which is why I'm saying you've got 2 wins in 10, because we had 2 wins in 9 in terms of the league. Now it's 2 wins in 10, because I count this next one. I do. It's a continuation, and you've had a full summer. So I'm not saying Daniel Farke is close to this, but I've seen the temperature from you guys, people, and just from my subscribers alone, and then you go on other social media platforms, he has got very, very little rope, Daniel Farke. So he just needs to get the results that he should be getting, and there's no excuses for it. Yeah, no accountability, Lewis. But we know that with Daniel Farke. And listen, I got over that last season when it comes to Daniel Farke. He doesn't not say sorry for things. You know, he doesn't need to do that. He's a manager, but he'll never go back on anything that he said. Furthermore, the journals don't ever go back and second guess him, question him as well. They didn't go back and say, "Well, what happened to that Peru Rutter thing, Daniel?" They'll never do it because obviously they'll get banned from access. So I get that part. Don't worry. Um, but yeah, he's got no accountability, man, and that is one of his flaws. I'm a big accountability person. I make mistakes. I think everybody in the world makes mistakes, but as long as you've got the foresight and the internal vision to go, you know what, man, I could have done that better. I just don't see it from this guy. But look, um, yeah, and that's it as well, Aaron. Daniel Chatswaffle goes into details on boring topics. Yeah, I was zoning out for a few of these, and especially when the whole Ailing Bamford talk, yeah, missed me with all that. Richard is saying, KG, I think he has 8 games before he may get sacked. Well, Richard, you 8 games, I think you're being generous because I think a few people are saying there is a possibility. There's not a there shouldn't be a possibility, but there is after that Portsmouth result that if we don't beat West Brom and Sheffield Wednesday, what happens then? You say 8 games, but that will be 3 games where we're not getting the results that I believe we should be getting. Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Yeah, Luke here saying, as a manager, I find it annoying to talk about XG. It just frustrates me. There's no need. Yeah, but it's to his benefit though because there are other X, that metric, those XG, XA, whatever, expected saves, but he doesn't bring those up, and rightly so. Rightly so. But yeah, I completely agree, Luke. He's talking like a man that is not watching the games. I expect to hear XG and all that from people that don't watch games, but he keeps on bringing it up. But is what it is, man. Is what it is. And that's it, Neil. Yeah, sick of him talking the talk, time to walk the walk, too much waffle. And I completely agree. So let's go on to some of the things here. All the players are fit and available. So we've got a full squad to choose from. He did say there's going to be a bit of rotation, although I don't know if it's going to be as big as maybe we initially thought. It seems like he might try and give the defense another go together just after the performance. He said that the defense are much better than that. I do agree with that as well. And maybe we don't see many changes there. I think it may be a case of maybe it will be Gruev out, Rothwell in, maybe Peru comes in for Joseph, something like that. I don't see too much, but maybe there will. And look, we'll find out tomorrow. And I think the game's on Sky Sports Plus, isn't it? So yeah, I should be on tomorrow for that. And either way, I'll be here for the match reaction as well. Yeah, there is that. Yeah, that's what I mean. It does. I didn't realize that as well until somebody else pointed it out to me as well. Nidar saying if he doesn't rotate, then he doesn't trust his squad again. I think with that there is a little bit of that Nidar, but I would also say as well that he's trying to get a bit of cohesion together, especially with the defense. I said in the summer as well. There is something that he said in the summer, and I can't remember what it was, but it made me think he wants to build that defense up again and be clean sheets again, be stable at the back. And obviously, letting 3 at home against Portsmouth is not the greatest start. You're starting behind straight away now. So I think there may be very little rotation in the defense, but I think in the other areas, he may play around with it just a little bit. Sai saying, shout out to you, Sai, rotate the goalkeeper, please. I'd be surprised if he does that. I think he'll want to play Meslier, as we've seen with many managers before Danny Farke. He's not the only one. They'll want to build him back up, and maybe he sees a home game in the Carabao Cup against Middlesbrough as an opportunity to give Meslier another outing just to wash away that Portsmouth game. But you know what? We shall see tomorrow, though, right? We shall see tomorrow. Gavin, that's tremendous. Has Meslier ever been seen in McDonald's? That is tremendous. And if for the people that don't know, Klaassen, who is one of our recent goalkeepers who went to that Polish team, I think. Let me get this right. I think he's had his contract terminated. First of all, because they weren't happy with his weight, and then he was pictured by a fan or something in a McDonald's. So they've terminated his deal. So I think Klaassen is a free agent right now. So there you go. That is funny though, Gavin. Tremendous. Ian saying Merlier has zero competition. He doesn't have any competition. Kent is there as a third choice. Fine, cool third choice, but Darlow isn't a competent competition for him, and he should have been. And that's the disappointing thing with Darlow. And again with Darlow, we'll see if he's still here come the end of the window, because there is noise about him going back to Hull City on a permanent deal. So let's stay tuned to that. But yeah, it would be nice to get some real competition or just replace him. But we know he's not going to get replaced, as he's now the vice captain. But yeah, listen, yeah, he called Gruev an 8. And that's the other thing. And that goes to the Szmodics point I want to make a bit later. Around the league, it's just one game, but this is a constant theme I saw last season. There are midfielders that just do that late run into the box, have a shot, just a pot shot, see what happens. It may take a deflection, may go out for a corner, but they don't take 2, 3 touches, look for a pass, they shoot first. And that is something that we don't have. We need to see Rothwell play, obviously, to see if he will give us that, because he is more of he is a playmaker, but he's not scared to take a shot. But I would just say this, people, if we were to get like a Lubicic, if I know that deal seems to be dead, but why get another kind of player like that? Why not get an advanced 8 that's got more of an eye for goal? I don't know why we just keep on getting the same type of player. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I would get a more advanced 8 that's more of a playmaker shooter, rather than a Lubicic who is a box to box. But people say he's got an eye for goal, but I think he scored like 4 goals, 5 goals, in one season. That's his best. That's not an eye for goal for me. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, Bobby saying Michael Cooper going to Sheffield United for just 2 million is actually frustrating to see with our goalkeeper problems. Yeah, well, I mean, listen, Bobby, if we were to sign Michael Cooper from Plymouth, the fan base wouldn't be happy with that, and rightly so. But I think I get your point in the fact that they are addressing a need. Adam Davis is average. Maybe Michael Cooper will be an upgrade for them. I don't know about that Gerbic guy. Maybe he's looking to leave after being relegated. But yeah, it just seems that we are stuck with Meslier as the guy, and he's just not that. But look, I've spoken about Meslier enough. I don't want to keep on going on about it. We'll speak about him again when it comes to the games, match reviews. But yeah, I've spoken about Meslier probably too much in the last 3 videos. So let's move on from that. No, Darren De Gea is at Fiorentina. He is recently signed there, man. He's recently signed there. But yeah, all players fit and available. So we'll see what happens tomorrow with the rotation. But I'll be surprised if it is too many. He did say about how important the cups are. Doesn't expect to win the cup, but you never know. And he said that today. This is the thing that we need to go on. We're not going to speak about the Luke Ayling. If he plays, cool, whatever, man. But he's on about the signings. We need to talk about our immediate future and the future of this football club. But he remained calm yet again today, Daniel Farke, in terms about there's no panic about the signings. He does believe that we will get the signings necessary. He trusts all the key people in terms of getting the numbers in. But like I said to you, it's been 24 days since Bogle. We've got like 17 days left of the window. So they're going to have to work quicker than they have done so far. One thing that he did reiterate today, and it's something that I've said today in many videos, is about loan signings. And he was asked today by Popey himself, actually, about does a loan signing, does it the club loaning you guaranteeing playing time for the player, or put you off signing those players? Paraphrasing there, but he essentially said, yeah, he's not going to guarantee any loan signing game time just because it sets a bad precedent for the group. I actually agree with him with that, unless the loan sign is outstanding, much like Rowe last year, where he's clearly better than the other options that we have next to Pascal. Then it makes sense to get a Rodon. But if you're getting a player like a winger, say like the Raksaki one, and saying that he's going to start week in, week out ahead of James or ahead of Nanto, then you can't do that. And that's what he said. He also said as well with the loans, there's no guarantee to play him, but that's why he would prefer a permanent signing, because then they know that they're a part of the group. And if it's not going well, they'll still be committed to try and play because this is their permanent home, rather than if they're on loan and they lose their spot, it's like, well, never mind then. I'll just go back to my regular club, my parent club, and see you later. And again, I do understand that point of view from Daniel Farke 100%. Do we have the finances to do that? We shall see by the time this window closes, people. But Daniel Farke just literally said exactly what I've been saying about the loan signings that we've been going in for. We haven't been able to secure because they want regular football, and we can't offer them with the first 11 that we have here. Um, let's have a look. Yeah, 17 days, Jack. 17 days. Luke saying loans are more expensive than people think. Yeah, I mean, loans still cost money. I mean, I think surely, Luke, the days are gone where people think that loan signings are just free, right? But no, there usually is a loan fee, and you are covering, if not 100% of the wages, depending on how much that player's on, you're covering a big portion of their wages as well. So yeah, then they're not cheap deals to do. Uh, but yeah, so that's it in regards to that, in regards to Danny Farke and the signing. So there's a note on that. Just let me just start that from Max. Just a score prediction, people, for this game. How do you see it going? Basically, it's a. I'll be real with you. I don't get excited about the cup games until later in the rounds. I don't. Maybe that's a bad thing for me, but it's round one of the Carabao Cup. I would have loved an easier tie than Middlesbrough. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't know if they're going to make big changes. They won their first game on the weekend. Maybe they're looking to keep that momentum rolling, because that's the thing as well. When people keep saying we need to look out for Middlesbrough, Coventry, and all these are teams that are expected to fade away. If they stay in the top six, cool. But if they fade away into 11th, 12th, like so many of them did last year, Sunderland being another one, then it's expected. But we are expected to be in the race for the top two. Paul saying 2-1 Leeds, James saying 3-1. Ash saying 2-1. Yeah. Leeds. Ian saying 1-0 Leeds. We will not be entertained. That would be nice, though, Ian. It would be. Russ saying 2-2. So what is it after penalties, Russ? What's that? Darren saying a 1-0 defeat. Philip saying 3-1 Leeds. Yeah. I'm gonna yeah, I'll just go with a 2-1 Leeds, man. Let's just go with that. Yeah, 2-1 Leeds. Yeah, and put your score predictions in the comments below, man, and we'll move on. So let's move on first of all to Jonathan Rowe. And for me, like I say, this will probably be the last update until something a bit more concrete comes up. Because L'Equipe have said that the Jonathan Rowe transfer is going to be too expensive, or is likely to be too expensive, so they may have dropped out now. I don't know what that means for Leeds United, because if Norwich is still quoting 15 million, that's far too expensive for this player, in my opinion, at this moment in time. Of course, he could become a 15 million player, but I just don't see why we would pay that. Norwich have recently as well just sold Adam Idah to Celtic for 9.5. So now they've probably got a little bit more financial muscle to say, no, we want this amount for Jonathan Rowe. And if it's not that, he's staying. Right now, he's with the under 21s. I think I said that a couple of days ago. But yeah, he's training with the under 21, so he's out the first team there, and they're just trying to look for the next resolution for Jonathan Rowe. Um, let's have a look. Yeah, Jazbo. I mean, you're saying all that. This is a cup game where we're doing a preview for, but cool, cool. But listen, Jonathan Rowe, I'm sick of this thing anyway. But what I would say is, if we are going in for him, just get the deal done. As long as it's affordable, as long as it's manageable for the team, get it done. But my preference would be, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, is Mr. Szmodics. And at this point in time, people, as I speak to you right now, Ipswich have not sealed the deal for Sammie Szmodics. What I could see happening is, if we do put in a bid for Szmodics, that Ipswich will cough up the money necessary and he'll go there. So all of this will be a moot point, of course. But Sammie Szmodics has been on my list for a long time. And the one time where it looked like he was going to get close was when we had all of our big hitters, Somerville and everyone else. And at that point, I said, if we get Szmodics, it means we're losing someone big. Well, we've lost someone big in Somerville, and he can't be replaced with one person. But what you can do is get somebody who is a completely different profile from everything we have, and get him in the team. And I think who was it? Was it Chris Boyd, one of those Sky Sports people? He said that Szmodics and Leeds just make so much sense. And if he costs, say, 10 million or something like that, Leeds should get the deal done. And I couldn't agree with this man anymore. He is perfect for Leeds United in every single way. The way he plays, his style of play, he's what we need as well in that hole, in terms of someone that just shoots first, eye for goal. He's an absolute roughhouse as well, so he gets involved in all that stuff. He's just perfect. If he is willing to make that move to Leeds United, if because the Premier League clubs keep on faffing him about, then we should be going in for him. And people are talking about his age. He's going to be 29 in September. That shouldn't be an issue for Leeds United. We've got enough young talent that have got resale value. That shouldn't even be in our thinking. The thinking should be, can this man help fire us to a division where we get 200 plus million just for being in it? That should be the main thing. And as well, by the way, 29, he's still got what, 3, 4 good years left in him. And he's got the hunger to play in the Premier League. That's where he wants to be. So he's going to be fully committed to getting this football club up into the Premier League. And for me, that there's just so many things that tick the boxes for this guy to be here. But look, in terms of that, let me just see what people are saying here. I feel like Farke will misuse Szmodics. Could be. People saying what will happen to Peru. Nothing will happen to Joel Peru. They're two completely different players. Then they are nothing alike. You know, it's just like having two number 10s, and one's a more creative player, and another number 10 is a shoot first player. They're both number 10s, but they're completely different players. Peru, for me, I've said before, is a 9.5. Szmodics is a 10 for me. But they're completely different players. But what it does as well is gives you more options to move Jorginho out to the right. Just think about that. Georgie on the right, Nonto on the left, Szmodics in that middle. Joseph in front, please. Yeah, give me that. Give me that. And I'm saying this with Szmodics. He's not the only one out there. I still feel we need a midfielder like this. I don't think we need another creator. We've got enough of those creative players. We need someone with an eye for goal that shoots first. We've got one at the minute in Gelhardt, but quite clearly he doesn't trust him, as we've seen yet again in the first game. All the other subs brought on, Gelhardt just chilling. So I would love them to get someone like this. And Danny Farke's call for experience, by the way. He's 28 years old, going on 29. Let's go. Of course, they can play in the same starting 11. Why can't they? For the games that Joseph won't start and he puts Peru up front, which Danny Farke has said today as a striker Peru can play, then why can't Szmodics play there? Well, why not? That doesn't make any sense. Jack saying loan Juffy. Yeah, I've already said that, Jack. I think if we do get in another attacker, whether it's a Jonathan Rowe winger, whether it's an attacking midfielder like Szmodics, I do see them letting Gelhardt on loan, because it makes zero sense for Gelhardt to do exactly what he did last season and just waste yet another year of his career. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, let me just get this as well, because this is another thing. Like Luke T said earlier about people not thinking that loans are cheap and stuff. Jason, I'm going to just say this. First of all, the bad attitude thing, load of rubbish in terms of Jonathan Rowe. I've said before in things, in people and businesses, everyone's a hypocrite. Well, listen, last year Leeds would not have liked what Nanto did, because it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good on the club. You've got a prize asset there that is trying to get himself out. Leeds handled that. Leeds United, in the case of Jonathan Rowe, if it was the case that they're going after him and will make a bid, will love the fact that he's gone on strike. And what do you think, that we are the only club in the world that doesn't like a player that said to his current club, I want to move to a better scenario for me, better opportunity for me, and that they've gone on strike or said to their current club, I would like to go? Well, you think that we are just doing everything by the book, yeah? You wish, Jason, and everyone else that thinks like this. Leeds United and his agent would have all had a little word and said, look, if Jonathan wants to come, we need him to make a little bit of noise. We need him to shake a tree or two in order to get this deal done, because otherwise Norwich are just going to dig their heels in and we're not going to get any leeway on the transfer fee. Leeds United and Marseille as well before would have been happy that Jonathan Rowe has sat out a game. They would have been. So all this attitude thing, it's BS, because they would have wanted the player to do it. But listen, there are fans like Jason here that think that Leeds are doing everything squeaky clean and that we are just putting in bids, not talking to Jonathan Rowe's agent, not trying to plant any seeds. We are just doing everything by the book. If you believe that, then I won't say anything just in case kids are watching. But yeah, we'll see the Easter Bunny. You know what I mean? Crazy, man. Oh man, funny people. But yeah, like Max H said earlier about Szmodics as well. Could be waiting to see if no Prem teams get Szmodics, then grab him. High risk, high reward. You know what the thing is as well. I don't think it is very high risk with Szmodics. I really don't. I think a higher risk is actually Jonathan Rowe. And if you go up to 50 million, I think that is high risk. For me, Szmodics, if you're talking 10, even up to, I would say even up to 15 for Szmodics, I would think that that is cash money in this division, and the hunger that this guy has, this man has, I should say, because he's a grown man, to play in the Premier League. That's a driving factor for me as well. We're not talking about a player from the Premier League who's been left out the 25 and is probably disappointed he's still not playing in the Premier League and is coming down and like, oh, okay, I'll give it a go. This is a man that is determined to play at the highest level, and why not do it with a club like Leeds United? Um, Okay, William, I'm getting ready to finish up here. We're pretty much done, but obviously, like I say, people will be back tomorrow with. I think there is a watch long available. I think there is available on the Now TV app. I'm going to have a look later, but either way, I'll be back for the match reaction too. William here saying Szmodics would be great. Would love to see two up top with Joseph. Me too. I've had enough with the Rowe. Make them your best offer. Move on. Handsome for me. Yeah. I'm the same, William. Just move, get it done, or just move on. There are other players out there. You know what? You know what it is for me. If you're going after a player where it is the difference maker, it is the man, then sometimes you have to put in work for that. You do have to put in time. But when it's a player where the potential's there and he could be good in your system, but there are other players out there, move on if the deal's too complicated. Would. Oh, I see. Okay, Max here saying, just clarifying, Max is saying high risk as in waiting on him, and if he goes elsewhere, we've wasted time. Yeah. Well, Max, for me, if we're on the 13th of August, I feel like we've not wasted time, Max, but I feel like we've already let enough time elapse through this window without getting in, the players we need. Danny Farke's words, people, we need a fullback, central midfielder, and another attacker. So for me, we've already made it, let enough time go. Let's start getting these players in. And if the move that we make for Szmodics makes Ipswich go for him and he goes there, then fine. You go on to the next one. You have to go on to the next one. Lars in the house. Szmodics' age could be a plus for our young squad. Yeah, I don't. That's it, Lars. I don't see any negative with the Szmodics thing. It's not about resale value. Not every player you sign needs resale value. And I'd argue, look at the deal we did for Rodrigo. We got him for 27 million from Valencia, 4-year contract. We knew we wasn't going to get any resale value for that, but we was hoping to get him for the duration of his deal, and just get the good years out of him. And that's why I liken it to with Szmodics. I just don't feel like you need every player to buy to just have resale value. I don't. And even if you look at Glenn Kamara, people, we've got him at 27 for 5 million. We've sold him a year later at 28 for whatever it was, 9 million, 8 million, whatever it is. So as long as they perform to a level where a buying club will still pay money for them, they'll still be valuable assets. That's it for me. That is. But listen, people, that's a pipe dream. I'm just going on a pundit's word there, but it just still makes all the sense. And let's just keep it in the atmosphere, right? So, guys, that is the preview, and that is Daniel Farke's words from the conference. Like the video, please. Really does help out the algorithm. Really does help. Drop your comments below, score predictions, and I'll see you in the next video, people. Enjoy the rest of your day. Peace out.